Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to really get into ideas that, well, shape how we deal with this increasingly complicated world.
That's right.
And today, we're tackling something quite provocative. It's a quote from Ivan Sara.
Oh, yeah, I know the one.
He said, "In a VUCCA world with wicked problems, we need more generalists than specialists as they have a limitless mind."
It definitely makes you stop and think, doesn't it? Especially now.
It really does. I mean, for anyone trying to navigate things today, that statement feels almost radical.
Because the push is usually towards specializing, right? Go deep, not wide.
Exactly. We obsess over specialization. And Sarah's just flipping that completely on its head.
Uh-huh.
So our mission today really is to unpack that. Let's grapple with it. Is it the generalist, the broad thinker, or the specialist, the expert, who truly has that limitless mind we need?
The mind we need to, what, survive or actually thrive in all this chaos?
Good question. Both, hopefully. And when we say VUCCA world, maybe we should quickly define that.
Yeah, good idea. VUCCA stands for volatility, uncertainty.
Complexity, chaos.
Well, and ambiguity. Basically, it's a world just full of unpredictable challenges, all interconnected, a constant state of flux.
Right, a relentless tide, as some might say.
And tangled up in that VUCCA environment, you inevitably find these wicked problems.
Ah, yes, wicked problems. They sound bad.
They are tricky. They aren't just hard puzzles. They're these multi-layered issues that are incredibly difficult to even define properly.
Why is that?
Well, often because the information you have is incomplete, or it contradicts itself, or the goalposts keep moving while you're trying to solve it.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Think about climate change. That's a classic one.
Yeah.
Or the ethics surrounding artificial intelligence.
Or even global pandemics like we've seen.
Exactly. They span across so many different areas: science, politics, economics, human behavior. No single easy answer.
Okay, so that's the landscape. Pretty daunting. Who are the players we look to tackle this stuff?
Well, broadly speaking, we tend to think about two main types of thinkers or, problem solvers.
You've got the generalists on one hand. These are folks with knowledge spread across lots of different areas. Broad thinkers.
Right. And then on the other hand, you've got the specialists. They go deep, really deep expertise, but usually in a pretty narrow field.
So this deep dive is really asking, who's got the edge here? Does that limitless mind Sara talks about belong to the generalist? And is that what we need most right now?
It's a fundamental question about how we approach problem solving in the 21st century.
Let's start with the case for the generalist. Why might Sara be right? What makes them seem so suited to this VUCCA world?
Well, one of the biggest things the source material points to is their adaptability, their flexibility.
It's more than just changing direction quickly, though, isn't it?
Oh, much more. It's like an ingrained ability to think across different fields that might seem totally unrelated on the surface.
So they can connect the dots others might miss?
Precisely. They might borrow an idea from biology and apply it to a business problem, or use a psychological insight to fix a tech issue.
That kind of cross-pollination. That sounds like where real innovation could come from, especially for those wicked problems.
Exactly. Because wicked problems don't respect disciplinary boundaries. They sprawl.
And that connects to another strength, right? Systems thinking.
Absolutely. That broad view often helps them see the whole system. Wicked problems, as we said, are interconnected. A health crisis isn't just about viruses.
Right. It hits the economy, society, supply chains, everything.
And generalists, because they're not confined to one narrow perspective, are often better positioned to grasp how all those pieces fit together, how they interact.
It's like they can see the whole elephant, not just the trunk or the tail.
That's a great way to put it. The old fable fits perfectly. The specialist might know the trunk incredibly well, but the generalist steps back and says, hang on, this is an elephant.
Okay, so they see the big picture. But what about getting things done? Does that broad view help with, say,
maybe sometimes overlooked role they play is as a bridge, a communicator.
a bridge between who?
Between different specialists, usually. Think about it. Specialists often speak their own jargon, right? They have their own way of seeing the world.
Yeah, try getting an engineer and a marketing lead on the same page sometimes.
Exactly. The generalists, having a foot in different worlds, can often act as a translator. They can understand the technical details and the market implications, for instance.
So they help make interdisciplinary collaboration actually work.
Yes. They can help take all those deep, specialized insights and weave them into a coherent plan, something actionable. That's hugely valuable.
Okay, you're painting a pretty compelling picture for the generalist. Adaptable, systems thinker, collaborator.
But there's always a but.
Right. Couldn't this breadth sometimes lead to, well, being spread too thin? A lack of real depth? Superficiality, even?
That's the critical counterargument, and it's why we absolutely cannot just say generalists are better, full stop.
So specialist indispensability.
Precisely. Some problems, especially wicked ones with a heavy technical component, absolutely demand deep, specialized knowledge. The kind a generalist just doesn't have.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, think about developing a complex new vaccine, or designing the next generation of quantum computers, or defending against a really sophisticated state-sponsored cyber attack.
Right. You wouldn't want a jack of all trades leading those efforts.
Definitely not. Relying only on generalists there could lead to, frankly, dangerous or ineffective solutions. They might miss critical details or lack the technical rigor needed. Depth isn't just nice to have sometimes, it's essential.
That makes total sense, especially with how fast things like tech are evolving. You need people who live and breathe that stuff.
You do. So it really pushes back against the idea of generalist supremacy. It's more about synergy.
Synergy, not supremacy. I like that. So the most effective teams aren't purely one or the other.
That seems to be the core insight, yes. For these really complex, wicked problems, you need both. It's not an either.
How does that dynamic work best then?
Well, you might have the generalist helping to frame the whole problem, asking the broad questions, connecting different teams or ideas.
Setting the stage, maybe.
Yeah.
Seeing the whole elephant.
Exactly. And then the specialists dive in. They provide the deep technical solutions, the specific expertise needed to actually build the thing or solve the core technical challenge. Grounded, domain-specific work.
That's like a partnership, a dynamic interplay.
That's it. Which brings us back to Ivan Sara's limitless mind idea. Who actually has it?
Because after discussing both sides, it seems like neither fits the bill perfectly, right? Neither seems truly limitless in an absolute sense.
Correct. The source material really challenges that notion of a single person having a totally unbounded mind. It's more nuanced.
How so?
Both generalists and specialists hit cognitive limits, but the way they approach the limits or the dimension in which they seem limitless is different.
Okay, explain that. Generalists first.
Right.
Where's their limitless quality?
For generalists, it's limitless in breadth. They draw from this huge pool of knowledge across many fields. They see patterns, connections.
The cross-pollination we talked about.
Right. They adapt fast. Their thinking is integrative, connecting disparate things. That's incredibly valuable when everything's changing and complex.
But the limitation.
The limitation is usually depth. Their knowledge in any single area isn't typically profound. So for those really technical hurdles, they often need a specialist's help.
Okay, so limitless breadth, limited depth. What about specialists?
It's the inverse, really. Specialists can seem limitless in depth.
Meaning
They possess this incredibly focused expertise. They can solve problems requiring immense technical skill, push the boundaries within their specific field. Think of, I don't know, a top neurosurgeon or a world-leading expert in particle physics.
their depth is astounding.
It is, but their potential limitation, it can be breadth. They might struggle with problems that require integrating knowledge from outside their niche or seeing the bigger picture, the broader context.
So limitless depth, potentially limited breadth.
Exactly.